All right. Welcome everyone to Movement Yoga Flow. My name is Mark Cormier. Kathy and I, my wife, Kathy's my wife. We do this every so often, mostly every week. Sometimes we skip a week. We do it for ourselves. We also do it for you. Helps me as a teacher, helps Kathy as a student, and hopefully it helps you all too. So if you'd like to see anything specifically in terms of yoga, you can put it in the chat. If you have anything specifically about anything else, go for it. We're easy around here. Anyway, all right, Kathy looks like she's ready. In front of our beautiful Christmas tree. All right.
Good morning, everybody.
There she is. You look a little dark. Let me give you a little light. Diminish the backlight. You still look pretty dark, but yeah, we'll go with it. All right. One more light on. How are you doing this morning, Kathy?
Great. How about you?
I'm doing awesome myself. Mornings are a great time to do yoga. So anything you'd like to do today?
Just stretch.
Just stretch.
Yeah, it's easy.
Okay. So yoga is more than a stretch.
And twist. Stretch and twist.
Oh, you want to do some twists?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Let's start with hands on hips. And just marching it from side to side. And then ground it down through both feet as we rock it from side to side. And then finding your center. Now rocking it front to back as we lift toes and lift heels. Feel free to go tippy, tippy, tippy. Notice how your low belly engages to keep your balance. And then staying grounded through the heels, grounded through the toes as we rock it front to back. And then finding your center. At this point, let's see, are you centered in frame? Okay, awesome. Looks like the mat is a little off here.
Yeah, the mat's kind of weird. The mat's like, this is like my central. There we go.
Okay, that looks good. All right. So at this point, making a choice. We can keep our feet nice and wide for a nice balance. We can narrow our stance to challenge that balance. Feel free to move that. Do whatever you'd like throughout the practice. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Relax shoulders, a soft tuck of the chin. Starting our practice this morning, watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. Arriving here on our yoga mats, ready for a West Coast morning yoga practice. If you're back east, a noontime practice. If you're elsewhere in the world, whatever time it is. From a place of just watching your breath, don't like to shape your breath. Just find a long, slow breath in. Followed by an equally long, slow breath out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage your core as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and out, squeezing a little more air out. Most importantly, with that core engagement on the exhalation, providing structural support for your low back as we move through these shapes and sequences. The inhalation takes care of itself. Do this deeper, fuller breath, finding the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, the go-to breath in many flow practices, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. As we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice. The sound of which often compared to the sounds of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. Keeping this, now finding your tongue loop, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth. Keeping that tongue to hard palate connection throughout the practice. Keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. Finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face. Opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, if you close your eyes, opening your eyes, tall through the crown of the head as we lift the chin. And I'll invite you to roll your hands over as you bring your hands by your side. Moving towards Sun Salutation A, we'll take it in 3 pieces, starting with arms and shoulders as we inhale the arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling arms back down. 2 more times like this, breathing arms up. Exhaling arms down. 1 more time, observing the natural rhythm of the shoulders as the arms elevate, the shoulders elevate. As the arms descend, the shoulders descend. Adding a forward fold and a back bend, half sun salutation. Inhaling up. Exhaling, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands can cap the knees. You could also use bricks. On the exhale, rounding the spine. Strong tuck of the chin. Hands can catch the back of the shins, or you could lower the bricks. On the inhale, finding your neutral spine. Arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Breathing in, lifting up. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, finding your neutral spine. Arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. 1 more to go. Breathing in, lifting up. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, finding your neutral spine, arms out to the side, and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Sun Salutation A. I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy, finding the top of the frame. Awesome. You want to mark that with a brick, or you're good?
Kind of uneven.
Yeah, I saw that. How we look. All right, I think we're still good. Yeah, and you want to, once you use the bricks to set the frame, just so you know where it is.
Yeah, you don't seem to go too close.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we'll start from standing, Sun Sal A. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine, strong tuck of the chin as you ground down through the hands. And let's step it back to down dog. We won't do vinyasa on this first one. As we hold this down dog, I'll invite you to walk your dog, bending one leg deeply as you ground down through the opposite heel. Freely moving back and forth between the sets. Just seeing how your body feels this morning. What feels tight? What feels right? What feels somewhere in between? Either working just the hips, or if your shoulders feel good, maybe adding a little dip of a shoulder, a little swing of the head. Again, just let your body tell you what it wants. And respecting what your body's saying. From a place of movement, moving back towards stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep focus. Tail end of a breath. I'll invite you to bend the knees ever so slightly, or even less slightly. Actually lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, finding just a little more space in that low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step, or maybe you jump at front. We can save the jump for later. Take a breath to arc the back. Arching the spine as you fold again. Inhaling, moving towards that neutral spine, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more here. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And now arching the spine as you find a push-up. Elbows stay soft. Stepping one foot back and then the other. Exhaling into your push-up. You could use the knees or not. Either coming all the way down and finding a cobra pose, hips stay down. Or lifting the hips and thighs up for your up dog. And then back over the toes. You could always use the knees as you find your down dog. Either holding the down dog in stillness, just seeing what comes up. Or again, feeling free to add some movement, stirring it up. Again, let your body tell you what it wants. If you chose to add movement, moving back towards relative stillness, long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Despite the lack of overt movement, you're still breathing, your mind's still moving, your heart's still beating. And by watching your breath as it flows in and out, finding a little more space between each breath, each thought, each beat of the heart, and breathing into that space, making more space in our bodies and our minds from the inside out. The breath is the vehicle. Tail end of a breath, bending your knees ever so slightly, or less ever, maybe very extremely, whatever you'd like to do. Again, just finding that sense of space in the low back as you lift the tailbone up. And then looking between the hands as you either step or jump it front. Awesome. Take a breath-defying length. Keeping that length as you fold again. On the inhale, arms out to the side and then overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one Sun Sal B, the traditional second warm-up exercise. We'll do it flow style. I've added an extra breath to the opening sequence. Inhaling, tall spine. Keeping tall spine, finding your chair. Inhale and hold chair. Exhale, go lower. On the inhale, rising on up, now finding a back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to arc the back. Exhaling, rounding the spine as you ground on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back. And I'll give you time to do whatever you choose to do. From down dog, flow style. Feet together. Right leg high for the three-legged dog. High on the left toes as we stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. Yeah, I'll invite you to point the toe to the lifted leg. Now flexing the foot as we bring that knee through, landing that foot lightly as we spin the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead warrior one. And then spinning the palms out as you find your low lunge. When both hands are down, you can spin that heel up. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time, find your flow. Follow your breath. From down dog, second side. Big toes, feet together. Left leg high as we point those toes. High on the right toes as we stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. And then flexing the foot as we bring that foot through. Landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead warrior one. And then spinning the palms out, grounding down through two hands, and then spinning that back heel up for low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time. Find your flow. Follow your breath. As we hold down dog, coming to an even breath. Long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you step or jump it front. Take a breath to create length. Keeping that length as we fold again. On the inhale, stay low, knees over toes, neutral spine, chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. I'll ask you to face camera, Kathy, as you bring hands to the heart. Light press of the thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Relax shoulders, a soft tug of the chin. Watching as your breath flows in. And watching as your breath flows out. Lifting the chin tall through the crown. I'll invite you to roll the hands over as you bring your hands by your side. Hands find the hips. We'll step the right foot front and find the balls of the toes. And just circling the ankle. The knee comes along, the hip follows. So inviting more prana, more flow into that right leg and right knee, right hip, right ankle. And taking those circles the other way. grounding down through that heel as we step that foot back in. Shifting the weight into that foot as we step the left foot out. Grounding down through the balls of the toes, that's right. And just circling the ankle. The knee follows, the hip follows. Keeping it loose, keeping it liquid. And then taking those circles the other way. Now grounded down through that heel as you step that foot in. Shifting the weight into the left foot. We'll step the right toe, the right big toe out. And then lifting that toe, just see what it's like to balance on one foot. The toe can always come back down to the ground. And then circling the ankle. Now grounding that toe down, finding your balance. Lifting the toe, and we'll circle the ankle the other way. Grounding down through that toe as we find our balance. Stepping the foot in, we'll step left big toe out. Finding your balance, just seeing what it's like to balance on one foot as we lift that toe up. Toe can always come back to the ground. And then circling the ankle. Toe comes down, finding our balance. Lifting the toe, taking that ankle the other way. Grounded down through that toe, finding your balance. You can step the foot in. Now I'll invite you to bring the feet together, coming on down, capping the knees with the hands, and circling those knees. Yeah, if the hips want to come along, go for it. Again, just listening to your body, feeling, and taking those circles the other way. And then coming back to center, and coming on up as we either step or jump our feet hip width apart. Hands find the hips, the fingers face down, knees a little bit soft as we circle those hips. And then taking those hip circles the other way. Now coming back center, let's pretend we have an extra set of hands, keeping our hips relatively stable as we find a cross-shoulder hug, a hand on each side. And then circling the shoulders. Again, try to keep those hips relatively stable. Just feeling our upper back. And then taking those circles the other way.
It's hard not to move your hips.
It's okay. They move a little bit. The idea is we just want to maximize shoulder. And then back to center. But we'll get into that urge here. Arms high in the air. One hand, thumb and forefinger of one hand circle the wrist of the other. We can traction that shoulder. Keep tractioning that shoulder as we take the shoulders one way, hips go the other. We'll take those circles the other way. We'll switch the tractioning. Other thumb and forefinger catch other wrist. And then back to center. And hands by our side. To release and relax those shoulders a little bit. I'll invite you to inhale the shoulders up towards the ears. On the exhale, just let it drop. A couple more times. Shoulders up. Exhaling, just let it drop. One more time. Shoulders up. And just let it drop. Keeping those shoulders heavy. I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy. And we'll work sun salutation C. Yeah. Make sure the mat's nice and comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know why it's drifting. Drifting not.
It's a slippery mat.
Yes, it's
We got the ice rink in place for the holidays. All right, so you're top of the frame?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Inhaling, tall spine. Exhaling, chair. Inhale and hold. Exhale, go lower. On the inhale, rising on up, finding a back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath and create length. Keeping that length as we fold again, grounding down through the hands and making your way back to down dog as you will. So we'll add on to our sequence. Welcome, Catherine. We have another Catherine in the house. Kathy C and Kathy S. Flow style. Feet together, right leg high as we point the toe. High on the left toes as we stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. Now looking between the hands, pitching that leg even higher as we flex the foot. And then bringing knee to nose to knee, shoulders over wrist for dragon dog. And then inhaling back leg long. So I want to point those toes when it comes up. Now flexing the foot, finding your dragon dog. Now pointing the toes as you stretch that leg long. Should feel pretty good. We're going to hold this next one as we flex the foot and hold for the inhalation. And then lots of core engagement as you step that foot front, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, warrior one. I'll allow you to bring hands back to the hips. Now, Kathy tends to land a long stance. She's probably okay right where she is. At home, if you want more stretch, you'll lengthen your stance. If you feel overextended, you could always shorten your stance. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front hip back hip front. We're not going to get there, but you want to feel that energetic engagement. Now thumbs find the shoulders, fingers relax. I'll allow you to circle one shoulder front and then the other. Asymmetrical shoulder rolls. And then taking those rolls the other way. Now steering heart front and center and letting those shoulders relax onto our ribs. Finding a clasp of the fingers behind the back of the head, pressing the head hard into the hands, open heart, open throat. Keeping that width across heart and throat chakra as we stretch those hands high. From here, pulling silk threads as we gather up the energy, straightening the front leg without locking the knee. Exhaling cactus arms as we offer that energy out 8 times, breathing in. And breathing out. Inhale. And exhale. With the breath. Couple more here. Last one. Breathing in. Breathing out. Finding, we'll hold the shape. So we got warrior one legs, cactus arms. Those cactus arms, we can draw the elbows back, the hands come with. I'll allow you to ripple those fingers as we keep our hands supple. Harvesting the energy currents. From here, hands come back to the hips. We'll turn warrior one hips into warrior two hips. Steering the hips sideways, kicking the back foot in for a narrower stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out past those front fingers with a steady, yet relaxed gaze. I'll invite you to set an intention for your practice, looking towards that intention. It could be as simple as, be here now. From here, painting rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling. Exhaling, warrior two. We'll do 8 of these with the breath. And last 2. Last one, holding that reverse warrior. Reaching up higher, reaching down further. Finding more space between each breath, or each rib with every breath. Mimicking our ribs with our fingers as we spread those fingers wide. Finding more space in our hands. And breathing into that space. Making ourselves bigger from the inside out. Turning our warrior, a reverse warrior into warrior two. Finding a rainbow warrior. Clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades backing down initially onto a rib shelf. And then open heart, open throat. Taking a deep dive inside the front leg. You can use the torso or the thigh as a parking lot for the torso. Or if you feel balanced this morning, maybe letting the torso hang free. And if that's not happening, no big deal. However you choose to work the shape, I'll invite you to add some swing, some sway, inviting any tension in your mind and body to drain down into the earth. Finding Jalandhara Bandha, a strong tuck of the chin as we bring it on up, stretching out the back of our neck. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, coming back to our warrior two, one long arm. From here, a big windmill of the arms as we find our low lunge, stretching out our shoulders. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time, find your flow. So let's do a little interlude here. I'll invite you to find your plank pose and holding the plank for 4 or 5 long, slow breaths. Feeling that connection between head, hips, and heels. Shoulders super, super engaged. Despite the effort of the action, still finding an easeful quality to your breath. Long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. No big deal. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath. Navel to spine as you lift the hips high, back to down dog. And I'll cue the second side from down dog, either holding your down dog for a few breaths, or some of you may choose to cycle through vinyasa, your choice. And vinyasa has different ways to do it. It just means connected movement through space. Classically, it's a push-up, then go back bend, and then back to down dog. Another vinyasa might just be to find a plank and hold that for a few breaths. And we already did that, so Kathy chose the other option. Second side. Feet together, left leg high as we point the toe. Now, flexing the foot, bringing nose to knee, knee to nose, shoulders over wrist, dragon dog. Inhale, back leg long as we point. Flexing the foot as we bring it forward, exhaling. Inhale, back leg long. The third one will hold. Exhale it forward. Holding for the inhale. And then lots of core engagement as we step that foot front. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side. And then overhead, warrior one. I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. Either staying right here, if your stance is exactly where you'd like it to be, or either shortening or lengthening your stance. Most of us go short, so most of us would profit from lengthening. Kathy tends to land a long stance straight off the bat.
Big hips.
And a lot of core strength too. With hands on hips, we can steer those hips front. We're not going to get there, but you want to feel that energetic action. Thumbs find the shoulders, fingers relaxed, elbows wide to the side. And then circling those shoulders. Great place to do this with one leg forward, one leg back. We've stabilized the low back so we can really get into the upper back. And then taking those circles the other way. Now steering heart front and center, letting those shoulders relax onto your ribs. Walking the fingers one over for the unfamiliar clasp behind the back of the head. Pressing the head hard into the hands, open heart, open throat. Elbows wide to the side. Keeping that as we stretch those hands high. From here, pulling silk threads. We don't want to break those threads as we gather the energy. Exhaling cactus arms as we offer it out. And we'll do that 8 times with the breath. And last 2. Last one, breathing in, breathing out and holding cactus arms. As we hold cactus arms, the elbows move back, the hands come with. I'll invite you to ripple those fingers, surfing the energy currents, keeping our hands supple. Now bringing hands to hips. We'll steer those hips sideways for warrior 2 hips, kicking the back foot in for a narrower stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out past those front fingers with a steady, yet relaxed gaze. I'll invite you to reaffirm that intention for your practice. And the intention could be as simple as be here now. Painting rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling. Exhaling, warrior two, 8 times with the breath. And a couple more here. On this last one, holding that reverse warrior, reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib with every breath. Mimicking your ribs with your fingers as you spread those fingers wide, finding more space in your hands. And breathing into all that space as we make ourselves bigger from the inside out. Turning our reverse warrior back into warrior two. Finding your rainbow warrior, walking the fingers one over for that other clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. And then taking a deep dive inside the front leg. You can park the torso on top of the thigh, or letting the torso hang free, yogi's choice. Wherever you choose to work the shape. I'll invite you to find some swing, some sway again, surfing the energy currents, inviting any tension in your mind and body to drain down into the earth. Finding Jalandhara Bandha, a strong tuck of the chin, keeping that tuck as we bring it on up, lifting the chin tall through the crown back to our warrior two, and from warrior two. A big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders for low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time, find your flow. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Equally long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift your tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you step or jump it front. Take a breath to create length. Keeping that length as we fold. On the inhale, stay low, knees over toes, hands over head, chair pose. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhale, rising on up, finding a back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to face camera, Kathy, as you bring hands to heart. This time adding an isometric engagement. As we press the palms together, elbows wide, shoulders engaged, a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of your center. Watching as your breath flows in. And watching as your breath flows out. Lifting your chin tall through the crown, I'll invite you to roll your hands over as you bring your hands by your side. I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy. Sun Sal D. Did somebody say twists? Somebody did say twists.
Yeah.
All right, get ready to twist it out.
I'm so excited.
Of course. Inhale. Find your tall spine first. Inhale, yeah, that's the innovation. Now finding your chair. Exhaling. Inhale and hold. Exhale, go lower, finding more strength in your legs. On the inhale, rising on up, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you ground down, and making your way back to down dog as you will. Take your time. Find your flow. Follow your breath. Flow style, feet together, right leg high as we point the toes. High on the left toes as you stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. You want to keep that foot pointed. Now flexing the foot as you bring right knee to right elbow. Maybe give it a tap. And then back leg long. You want to point those toes, yep. Now flexing the foot, finding a twist. Right to left. And then back up. Point those toes, yeah, feels good. Now flexing the foot and holding it center, finding your dragon dog. And then stepping that foot front, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. We can bring hands back to the hips as we steer our hips front. Now I'll invite you to stretch, make sure I'm on the same side here. Let's keep right hand on right hip as we stretch left arm long, reaching up, and then reaching out. And let's do that 8 times, breathing in and out. Inhaling up, exhaling out with the breath. And last 2. And last 1, reaching up. Now reaching out, starting to twist with the wrist. We find the twist, so the wrist comes to the far side down. Now you're going to slide to the elbow. Once you have the elbow, finding prayer hands.
My head is somewhat discombobulated.
You want me to adjust the camera
I need
here?
it.
Let's see, you are...
Yeah, you're in the right. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, looks good. As we hold the stretch, pressing those palms together, isometric engagement. Shoulder blades backing down onto the ribs. I'll invite you to lift the chin ever so slightly, opening up throat chakra. And then keeping that openness, you could look down, you could look off to the side or up to the sky. Really up to you. You might do all 3, just seeing how your neck feels this morning. We're twisted, we're balancing. Very difficult. Having said that, there's an easeful quality to the breath. No big deal. Coming out of our twist easefully as we frame front foot with both hands, spinning back heel up for your low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you go. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. Second side. Feet together, left leg high as we point those toes. High in the right toes as we stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. And now flexing the foot as we bring left knee to left elbow, maybe give it a tap. And inhale back up as we point those toes. Now flexing the foot and finding your twist. And then back up. Now flexing the foot and bringing the knee center for your dragon dog. And then lots of core engagement as we step that foot front, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips as we steer those hips front. And now left hand secures left hip as we find length on the right side, reaching up, and then reaching out. 8 times with the breath. And last 2 here. And last 1, reaching up. Now we're going to reach out, so keep side body long. We're going to find our twist, starting with the wrist, so that front knee bends. Once you have the wrist, we can slide to the elbow, back leg long, back leg strong. Finding prayer hands, opening up throat chakra, and choosing whether to look down, off to the side, or up to the sky. I'll invite you to find that isometric engagement also. Using that press of the palms to ground the shoulder blades, backing down onto the spine. Open heart, open throat. Easeful, easeful breath. Long, smooth breaths in. Easeful, long, slow breaths out. Again, we're twisted, we're balancing. Lots of effort here, but still finding that ease in the midst of that effort. And that's what makes it yoga. Or at least one of the things. One more breath here. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, coming out of the twist as we frame front foot with both hands. Spinning back, heel up for low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back, your choice. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands, and either stepping or taking a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length as we arc. Exhaling, arching the spine as we fold. On the inhale, finding your chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, finding your neutral spine. I'll ask you to face camera, Kathy. Again, bringing hands to heart. This time, I'll invite you to find a lotus flower. Heels of the hands stay together as we separate the fingers. A soft tuck of the chin, appreciating the lotus flower. Lotus flower is very important in yoga philosophy. It roots down into the mud and rises up towards the sky. Very beautiful flower. Lifting the chin tall through the crown. I'll invite you to roll your hands over as we bring our hands by our side. From here, let's step our feet wide, wide, wide. Angling the toes out, upholding the heavens. Bending the knees, gathering up the energy as we clasp the fingers. Raising the energy up, pressing the palms up to the sky as we lift up onto the toes. And let's do that 8 times. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Down. Up. That's it. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. And up. We got 2 more to go here. Down. Up. Down. Up and hold. Jumping on those toes 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now holding those heels high. Could you lift those heels up higher? And higher. And higher. Awesome. And then lowering the heels. Hands by our side as we step or jump it in. From here, let's bring hands to hips, shifting weight onto the right foot as we find our flamingo. Lifting that toe up. I know it's a little tippy with the rug underneath the yoga mat. Now either staying here or taking a little bow to your knee as we gather energy into our belly. And then lengthening through that leg without dropping the thigh. We can point the toe. We want to keep a little bit of a forward tilt here. Again, we want the low belly to do the work. Could you lift that leg up higher? Now flexing the foot as we find our standing half lotus. Parking the ankle on top of the thigh, and then sitting down in an invisible chair. I'll invite you to find a lotus flower at the heart. And then lifting that lotus up to the sky. Spinning palms out, bringing hands back to the hips, coming back to our flamingo. Just the flamingo, you don't have to. If you did want to add
No, that's
the
okay.
hard part.
No,
go for it.
No.
And then from the flamingo, landing that foot softly, coming back to 2 feet. And let's kick it from side to side. Sometimes when we do these balance poses, we collect tension in our body and just releasing that tension. Yeah, grab some water. And we'll do that second side. Shifting weight onto the left foot as we find our flamingo. Hands find the hips. Awesome. Now from the flamingo, we can take a little bow to the knee as we gather energy into our belly, not yet. So we're going to do the hard thing first. We're going to lengthen through that leg without dropping the thigh. And point the toes. Again, you want to be a little forward tilted. You want it right here. And that low belly, 3 fingers below the navel. Could you lift that leg up a little higher? Now coming back to the flamingo. So we're going to keep the toe pointed. So we're going to find the flamingo first. The flamingo is standing on one leg with the down leg down. Now you're going to flex the foot and find your standing half lotus. Sitting down in an invisible chair. Once you feel solid and stable, finding the lotus at the heart. I know it's tough. The rug makes it very difficult. And then lifting the lotus up to the sky. Awesome. If I weren't using my camera as a... Actually, maybe I can take a picture. Can you hold it? We'll save it for... We'll have it for yoga friends next week. Or the week after. Depending on what everyone's schedule is. Beautiful, Kathy. Awesome. Bringing the lotus or losing the lotus, hands find the hips. We'll come back to the flamingo. And then landing that foot softly as we come back to our stand and with hands on our hips, just marching it from side to side. Releasing and relaxing any tension. From here, let's do a short back relaxation set. And we'll be on our back, so getting onto your back as you will, Kathy. I'll ask you to go sideways. Yeah, if you want to get fancy about it, go for it. Otherwise, just plop on down. Long, slow roll down. She loves that core work. Full body stretch. You can stretch that full body stretch right to left. Like a cat getting ready to take a nap. And then I'll invite you to press your back into the mat as you walk one foot in and into the other. Hands by your hips. From here, let's find a bridge pose. Pressing into hands and feet to lift up the hips. Now clasping the fingers, stretching the fingers towards the feet as we lift the hips up higher. Yes, you want to keep the clasp of the fingers. It's going to be a yoga bridge. So the Pilates bridge is everything in one line. The yoga bridge is you have more of a rainbow shape. As we hold the bridge, heavy in the arms, but very light, very buoyant in the sternum. You might think of a balloon beneath the back of the heart, and that balloon is lifting up to the sky. As we find more space, more freedom in our upper back. From the clasp of the fingers, I'll invite you to find flat palms on the floor. We're going to pull back with those palms to stretch tailbone towards heels, laying each vertebrae down as if you're laying pearls onto a cushion. Yeah, if you want to dance it down, go for it. When the sacrum lands down, the low back lifts. I'll invite you to lengthen through one leg and then the other, keeping that sense of space in the low back. Spinning the palms up, arms out to the side, scooting the head back. You should flatten your shoulders. Finding our final relaxation shape, Shavasana. Initially focusing on your breath as it flows in and out. But as we hold the shape, even letting that focus soften as we bring our senses inside. And we won't be there too long. I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. Moving your mind before you move your body. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. Like watching clouds drift by in the sky. From this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shake your breath, lengthening your exhalation. Long, smooth breaths in. Longer, slower breaths out. Keeping this more easeful breath. I'll invite you to ripple fingers and toes as you invite more flow, more prana, more energy into your body. Inviting that flow in towards center as you gently circle wrists and ankles. Now pressing your back into the mat to recruit your core. As you draw one knee in, the other knee follows. Hands catch the knees. Using your thighs to gently massage your low belly. As you gently lift and lower the low back and hips, front to back, side to side, little circles. Let your body tell you what it wants. Keeping the knees closed in, keeping the neck relaxed. God bless you.
Thank you.
Reaching back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin, or hands. Keeping the chin tucked, hands come back to the knees, the shins. You could also catch the back of the thighs as you rock yourself front to back, back to front, massaging your spine. And then rocking on up, finding a cross-legged sit. I'll ask you to face the camera. As we sit, grounded down through 2 sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees. Pulling back with your hands to settle your shoulders. Pressing into your sits bones to lift your kidneys in and up. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring one hand onto the heart, the other hand on top. Ending our practice listening and feeling as our breath flows in and out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga. And as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. I want to do the hand gesture with you. Out to each other. Beautiful. Separating the palms out to the world. Awesome. And then a big bow. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark, for leading. Thank you,
Thank you at
Catherine,
home.
and anyone else
Anyone
who
else
joined
that
us today.
either
Thank you
watching
so much.
now or maybe you'll watch it later. But as always, namaste. Have a nice day.
Namaste. Have a nice day. Thank you.